Well, I'm still here. Sorry, I was gone for so long. We bought a house, sold our house, moved a house, and paddle making wasn't on the agenda for quite a while. Though I'm back here making episode 19, maybe it's 19 and a half. I made an episode 19. I'm going to throw it away because all I did was shape the other parts of the blades like you saw in episode 18. Today I'm going to be working on the loom. The first thing I'm going to try and do is get the shoulders to be shaped better. See how it goes. So we see the shoulder here, how it's been shaped on both sides. I'm still a little bit off my line. And the shoulder comes down here. There's a saw mark here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a cut here where I was probably making a stop cut or something and I went too deep. So I got to get that out of there. The goal here is to shape these a little better down the sides, just make it easier on the hands, and to clean up that slice there. I'll just trying to chip away at that. Let's get the sides set up first. I'm sort of happy with how that feels. I'm going to try and do the same on this side. You won't get to see it. Okay, now I'm going to round the top here. Not that I want to, but I want to get rid of that divot, and rounding it seems to be the best way, so I'll just pare away here. Until that slice goes away. The slice is almost gone. Sandpaper will take out what's there. Now I got a little ridge here, so it comes out, then in, then out again. So I'm just going to try and flatten this whole thing. Wasn't liking that. Might be time to sharpen this guy. Let's get another one. Let's blame the tools, right? The one I had been using is an old Stanley. I'm not sure which exact models. There's something written, but it's awfully tiny. Made in USA, though. This next one is one of my Japanese ones, and I've not used this one, but I can tell it's sharp just by running my finger on it. Oh, look at that, yeah. It's time to learn how to sharpen chisels, isn't it? Because I've been using this one for a while, and I can sharpen a plain blade, but I learn how to sharpen chisels. Diagonal across the grain seems to work a lot better than going straight down it. I hate chiseling towards me, but first off, I'm not hammering, and I'm using very little force, so if it hits me, it won't go in too deep, right? See, that's working nicely there. Why can't I work that nice everywhere? Let's round these corners a little bit more. Oh, that does feel nice. I'll do the other four sides using the same technique. There's no point in videoing that. Well, I do want to show you this one thing. There's a saw mark here that when I was using the coping saw, it dug in too deep, and that slice went in about a ½ inch or so, ½ inch long, maybe a 1/16 or an eighth down. So what I did was I just put some Titebond 3 in there to make it hold better, I guess. I don't know. So one thing worth mentioning on this one, remember way back months ago when I first cut this, I used my a hand drill and a circular bit to cut this out. And I didn't do it on the others because it was way too hard. And so that means this slope here actually is rising here as opposed to being like a 45-degree angle for the other. So I'll have to cut that back some. But also means that I can just feel they're both in the same spot. So if I cut this one back, this one down here, that's correct. I'll have to cut it back also just so they match. Otherwise it might feel funny in the hand. Thing I wanted to mention is all this chisel work for getting the shoulders feeling really good. Remember when I first started shaping the blade, I used, I think, probably the spoke shave to get this all ground down. And of course that was silly because almost immediately after I came in and just removed all that work that I carefully shaped. So that step I did a long time ago, you just don't have to do. You do all your shaping down here on the shoulder later on. I'm on my last one, and I noticed one thing that's kind of cool. You can actually see right there the pencil lines that were drawn in from the pattern in Brian's book. And that's what I'll be shaving down to. I've turned it. It's harder for me, but the camera can see it now at least. See how I'm approaching that line? In this one I did want to cut back some, so I'll do that now. Should go down like that. So I'm done all 4 of the shoulders. I should actually take it out of the clamp and feel it, but I can fix it up later. Now what I need to do is get rid of some of the horrible sawing marks that I did on the loom. You can see 2 great ones here. Have a look at that. And that'll make the loom a little thinner than I want it to be, but what else can I do? I can't have that there. That's a stressorizer that will cause the paddle to fail, presumably. Right there. Stressorizer is where cracks can form. I hate taking all this wood off. See the tear out? It's got to be so careful. It's got to come in this way. It's almost gone, but man, I've taken a lot of wood away. So that's almost done. Of course, that bit of stuff I just did seconds ago has made a nice gouge here. Okay, I've got a lot more of this to do to get things down to the line, and I'm making it more octagonal shape at this point. Then it'll become, in this case, circular, not oval shape. I just realized I should probably show you what I'm doing to get this more octagonal. I came in before with the spoke shave and got really close to my lines, and now I'm trying to get it even closer to the lines, right on the lines, and that's what I'm using the chisel for. I also want to point out my awesome new glasses. Since episode 18, I've had cataract surgery, and I can see perfectly well now, except I lost my magic up-close vision. Remember when I used to go like that and look close? I can't do that anymore, so I got these. These are +6 readers from Amazon. My God, you can't even stand because you could get dizzy looking, just standing up, but they're great for close work. So if you got cataract surgery, get them. So we can see here that I've missed the line. Come in. Trying to connect this line here with that line there. Not without going deep, I don't want to get tear out. Now, that line and this line are almost connected. There's a little more to go. Notice that using a good chisel really is important, because this is almost effortless on this nice sharp chisel. On the unsharp one, it wasn't as easy, but not as easy as this one. And a friend of mine at work, because we were talking about woodworking the other day, and he says, "Where do you get good chisels?" And he got his name brand chisels at a big box store, and he was probably hammering too hard. He was in a piece of wood and hit a knot, and what happened was quite unexpected. The tip of the chisel bent under. And what I told him is, I don't know, there are manufacturers that make good chisels now. All of mine are vintage chisels. And so I don't know where you get good ones, but they're not cheap. You don't get it with the big box store, that's for certain. I honestly can't remember how I cut these sides before. I'm pretty sure it was with the spoke shave. There's so much rough stuff and chatter. And I can just feel this now from the chisel, and it's bumpy because it's a chisel, but it feels like, a fine finish here. So it's a really sweet tool. So I'd like to say that the loom and the shoulders are done, and they do feel good in the hand. It needs to be sanded and stuff and made more circular. But that's next. But notice how pathetic my sawing is. Look at that loom there. This one's taller than that one, and that one's really tiny, and it's really asymmetrical down here, but hey, it's still a paddle, right? I wanted to mention one thing. I just said how pathetic my sawing is, and that's because sawing is hard if you don't know what you're doing. And back when I did this, I really didn't know what I was doing. You guys saw me how I failed trying to rip it and stuff. I want you to see this, what I made here. This is a low Roman bench. It has wedged mortise and tenon joints here. It's a laminated top. It's got some hold-fast holes. And to do this, I had to rip the legs, okay, out of 2x4s. And that's a lot of sawing. And yeah, there's some junk legs in the junk pile over there, but I got 4 good legs out of it. There's YouTube videos out there on how to saw, and particularly the Paul Sellers blog. The Paul Sellers ones were just wonderful. Wood by Wright, I'm watching another video by him right now. I think he says, you can't saw the line unless you can see the line. And these are all great tips. Sawing is something that you just gotta learn how to do. It's hard, but don't get discouraged. Next time I'll be shaping the ends.